Welcome to Poetry Out Loud 2021. I hope you're as excited as I am for this because this is such a good thing. For those of you new to the school, you might be wondering, what is Poetry Out Loud? Well, I'm here to tell you right now. Poetry Out Loud is a national arts education program that encourages the study of great poetry. And so how they do that is they give teachers access to resources in that website, which I'm sure you know well by now. It also offers a national competition for high school students, and that's where we're coming in today. We're trying to figure out who our school finalists will be for our regional competition. Poetry Out Loud is sponsored by the National Endowment for the Arts, Poetry Foundation, and the Utah Division of Arts and Museums, and we do want to thank them for their support. For you returning students, you'll notice that things are a little different this year, obviously. Normally we'd be in the auditorium for an all-school assembly where the whole assembly would be students reciting poetry. And this year the contest has changed. Obviously things have changed, and so it's students submitting videos of their recitations. But I think you'll find that although the format is different, there's still that same quality that's been apparent despite all of our obstacles this year. Judge has a tradition of excellence, as you know, and it's no different in Poetry Out Loud. We've been participating in the state competition for about 15 years, by my recollection, and in that time, Judge students have finished in the top 3 in the state at least 5 different times. And in 2018, our most recent state champion was Rebecca Akek, who won a free trip to Washington, D.C. and got to tour the White House. So she made us very proud there, and she actually advanced to the national semifinals. We're going to watch just one recitation of Rebecca's to give you a sense of the quality that's at the national level, but also to encourage you that, you know, this is doable. A lot of you have the talent to do it if you want to put in the time to do it.
From Utah, Rebecca Dow Menil Akek.
The River of Bees by W.S. Merwin. In a dream, I returned to the River of Bees. 5 orange trees by the bridge, and beside 2 mills my house, into whose courtyard a blind man followed the goats and stood singing of what was older. Soon it will be 15 years. He was old. He will have fallen into his eyes. I took my eyes a long way to the calendars, room after room, asking, how shall I live? One of the ends is made of streets. One-man processions carry through it. Empty bottles there. Image of hope. It was offered to me by name. Once and once in the same city I was born, asking, what shall I say? He will have fallen into his mouth. Men think they are better than grass. I returned to his voice, rising like a fork full of hay. He was old. He is not real. Nothing is real, nor the noise of death drawing water. We are the echo of the future. On the door, it says what to do to survive, but we were not born to survive, only to live.
I hope you saw that Rebecca's performance was outstanding, and there was a reason she was the Utah champion and a national semifinalist. Judging by this year's entries, I think we're going to have another strong entry into the state or the regional competition, and hopefully then the state competition after that. So with that, let's get to it. Poetry Out Loud 2021.
We used to like talking about grief. Our journals and letters were packed with our losses, complaints, and sorrows. Even if there was no grief, we wouldn't stop lamenting, as though longing for the charm of a distressed face. Then we couldn't help expressing grief. So many things descended without warning. Labor wasted, loves lost, houses gone, marriages broken, friends estranged, ambitions worn away by immediate needs. Words lined up in the back of our throats for a good whining. Grief seemed like an endless river, the only immortal flow of life. After losing a land and then giving up a tongue, we stopped talking of grief. Smiles began to brighten our faces. We laugh a lot at our own mess. Things become beautiful, even hailstones in the strawberry fields.
Ice by Gail Mazer. In the warming house, children lace their skates, bending, choked over their thick jackets. A Franklin stove keeps the place so cozy, it's hard to imagine why anyone would leave. Clumping across the frozen beach to the river, December's always the same at Ware's Cove. The first sheer ice, black, then white, and deep into the city sends trucks of men with wooden barriers to put up the boys' hockey rink. An hour of skating after school of trying wobbly figure eights. An hour of distances moved backwards without falling. Then twilight. The warming house steamy with girls pulling on boots, their chafed legs aching. Outside, the hockey players keep playing, slamming the round black puck until it's dark, until supper. At night, a shy girl comes to the cove with her father. Although there isn't music, they glide arm in arm onto the blurred surface together, braced like dancers. She thinks she'll never be so happy, for who else will find her graceful, find her perfect, skate with her in circles outside the emptied rink forever.
Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them, and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair." Nothing beside remains, round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far away.
The Coming Woman by Mary Weston Fordham. Just look, 'tis 6:15, love, and not even the fires are caught. Well, you know, I must be at the office, but as usual the breakfast will be late. Now hurry and wake up the children, and dress them as fast as you can. Poor dearies, I know they'll be tardy. Dear me, what a slow pokey man. Have the tenderloin broiled nice and juicy. Have the toast browned and buttered all right. And be sure you settle the coffee. Be sure that the silver is bright. When ready, just run up and call me. At 8 to the office I go. Lest poverty grim should o'ertake us, 'tis bread and butter you know. The bottom from stocks may fall out, my bonds may get below par, then surely I seldom could spare you a nickel to buy a cigar. Already, now while I'm eating? Just bring up my wheel to the door, and wash up the dishes and mind now, have dinner promptly at 4. For tonight is our women's convection, and I am to speak first, you know. The men veto us in private, but in public they shout, that's so. So bye in case of rap love. Before opening the door you must look. Oh, how a civilized woman exists without a man's cook.
Enemies by Wendell Berry. If you are not to become a monster, you must care what they think. If you care what they think, how will you not hate them and so become a monster of the opposite kind? From where, then, is love to come? Love for your enemy that is the way of liberty? From forgiveness. Forgiven they go, free of you and you of them. They are to you as sunlight on a green branch. You must not think of them again, except as monsters like yourself. Pitiable because unforgiving.
My name is Sadie Dubois, and I will be reciting Big City Speech by W.S. DiPiero. Use me, abuse me, turn wheels of fire on manhole hotheads, sing me, sour me, secrete dark matter's sheen on our smarting skin, rise and shine in puddle shallows, under every Merrill, Cheryl, Caleb, Sid, somnambulists and sleepyheads. Wake us, speak to us. Bless what you've nurtured in your pits, the rats, voles, roaches, and all outlivers of your obscene ethic and politics. Crawl on us, fall on us, you elevations that break in vain, down to sulfuric fiber optic wrecks, through drill bit dirt to bedrock. Beat our brows, flee our sorrows, sleep tight with your ultraviolets, righteous mica and drainage seeps, your gorgeous color chart container ships, and cab top numbers squinting in the mist. Thank you.
By John Haynes. Facing the wind of the avenues one spring evening in New York, I wore under my thin jacket a sweater given to me by the wife of a genial Manchurian. The warmth in that sweater changed the indifferent city block by block. The buildings were mountains that fled as I approached them. The traffic became sheep and cattle milling in muddy pastures. I could feel around me the large movements of men and horses. It was spring in Siberia or Mongolia, wherever I happened to be. Rough but honest voices called to me out of that solitude. They told me we are all tired of this coiling weight, the oppression of a long winter, that it was time to renew our life, burn the expired contracts, elect new governments. The old imperial sun has set, and I must write a poem to the emperor. I shall speak it like the man I should be, an inhabitant of the frontier, clad in sweat-darkened wool, my face stained by the wind and smoke. Surely the emperor and his court will want to know what a fine and generous revolution begins tomorrow in one of his remote provinces.
My name is Michael Silas, and I am a junior. Ah, why? Because the Dazzling Sun by Emily Bronte. Ah, why? because the dazzling sun restored my earth to joy. Have you departed, every one, and left a desert sky? All through the night, your glorious eyes were gazing down in mine, and with a full heart's thankful sighs, I blessed that watch divine. I was at peace, and drank your beams as they were life to me, and reveled in my changeful dreams like petrel on the sea. Thought followed thought, star followed star, through boundless regions on, while one sweet influence, near and far, thrilled through and proved us one. Why did the morning rise to break so great, so pure a spell, and scorch with fire the tranquil cheek where your cool radiance fell? Blood-red he rose, and arrow straight his fierce beams struck my brow. The soul of nature sprang, elate, but mine sank, sad and low. My lids closed down, yet through their veil I saw him blazing still, and bathe in gold the misty dale, and flash upon the hill. I turned me to the pillow then, to call back night, and see your worlds of solemn light again throb with my heart and me. It would not do. The pillow glowed, and glowed both roof and floor, and birds sang loudly in the wood, and fresh winds shook the door. The curtains waved, the wakened flies were murmuring round my room, imprisoned there, till I should rise and give them leave to roam. O stars and dreams and gentle night, O night and stars, return and hide me from the hostile light that does not warm, but burn, that drains the blood of suffering men, drinks tears instead of dew. Let me sleep through his blinding rain, and only wake with you.
Arrhythmia by Haley Luthhauser. The heart of a bear is a cloud-shuttered mountain. The heart of a mountain is a kiln. The white heart of a moth has 19 white chambers. The heart of a swan is a swan. The heart of a wasp is a prick of plush. The heart of a skunk is a mink. The heart of an owl is part blood and part chalice. The fey mouse heart rides a dotty dust cart. The heart of a kestrel hides a house wren at nest. The heart of a lark is a czar. The heart of a scorpion is swidden and spark. The heart of a shark is a gear. Listen and tell thrums the grave heart of humans. Listen well, love, for it's pitch dark down here.
Discrimination by Kenneth Rexroth. I don't mind the human race. I've got pretty used to them these past 25 years. I don't mind if they sit next to me on streetcars or eat in the same restaurant, if it's not the same table. However, I don't approve of a woman I respect dancing with one of them. I've tried asking them to my home without success. I shouldn't care to see my own sister marry one, even if she did love him. Think of the children. I'm sure, if given the chance, they'd kill us in our own beds. And you must admit, they smell.
Y2K by Teresa Lloyd. When I was in despair, the dark days when I actually used such terms, I noticed the behavior of animals. Sleep when tired, eat when hungry. That made a lot of sense to me, and yet I felt different. I felt my humanness too much. No fly ever wonders whether it should make lots and lots of maggots. It gives birth on a mound of cat food or inside the rubbish bin. As far as I know, it's not worried about overpopulation or what sort of environment its kids will grow up in. My humanness sees me at an art gallery, watching others, watching walls. My humanness gives me dark thoughts of cruel behavior. You are in the states of Issa Glitch, and there you remain. Like Star Trek, I talk to you on a screen, your face half a second out of sync with your speech. I'm in the future. My Tuesday is already over, and I want to tell you all about it to prove my superiority. That lovely conceit of time that saw people travel from all over the world to be in Gisborne for the first sunrise of the new millennium. Remember how we all thought the sewer pipes would burst and the criminals would escape or something like that? Y2K packs sent to every household because no one knew for certain what the numbers 2000 really meant. Somewhere, people, important people, cowered in bunkers, fearing the worst.
El Olvido by Judith Ortiz Kofer. It is a dangerous thing to forget the climate of your birthplace, to choke out the voices of dead relatives when in dreams they call you by your secret name. It is dangerous to spurn the clothes you were born to wear for the sake of fashion. Dangerous to use weapons and sharp instruments you are not familiar with. Dangerous to disdain the plaster saints before which your mother kneels, praying with embarrassing fervor that you survive in the place you have chosen to live. A bare cold room with no pictures on the wall. A forgetting place where she fears you will die of loneliness and exposure. Jesus, Maria y Jose, she says, el olvido is a dangerous thing.